presentation of the Spartan Media Network. Welcome to the Spartan Media Network from Playfly Sports.
Spartans recovered on the break. A slam dunk by Booker. Holloman drives the basket. Bank shot away. Good. And I think he's going to get a free throw to boot. Booker for three. He got it. How about that?
It's time for the Auto Owners Insurance presentation of the Tom Izzo Show. Tonight's show is sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense. The Tom Izzo Show is also brought to you by Meijer, the official grocer of Michigan State Athletics. Labatt. Crack some Labatt and see where it takes you. SeatGeek, the official ticket marketplace of MSU Athletics. One North Kitchen and Bar, making good times great. Team Trailways, the official ground transportation provider of Spartan Athletics. Make Team Trailways your favorite ride. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment. Choose chill. And by McLaren, official orthopedics and sports medicine partner of Michigan State Athletics. Now with Michigan State head basketball coach Tom Izzo, here's the voice of Spartan basketball, Will Tieman.
And a pleasant good evening to everybody around the great state of Michigan, and welcome into the Tom Izzo Show. And one thing I will say, and Tom made a comment about this, our place is packed here. The weather is not great, a little bit on the raw side. It's a pretty amazing turnout, don't you think?
You people are unbelievable, certifiably nuts, but unbelievable. I really mean that. I want to thank you. I'm sure Scott and Kathy thank you. I'm sure Will thanks you. But it's really, I said it after our last game with the alumni zone and all the kids that came back. And not even kids. Some of them are grandparents already. That's how long I've been here. But I said that it's a special place, and you guys, you're all honorary Youpers. I'm going to bring your card because snow doesn't bother you, cold weather doesn't bother you. You just came out, and I appreciate you all. Thank you.
There you go. Well, we've had a lot of good things going on. We've won 9 straight games. We are 5-0 in the Big Ten, and 3 of those 5 are on the road, which is a premium win, obviously, every season. But when Tom had his press conference today, obviously there was discussion about this team and how well it's doing. But he opened up his press conference talking about the misfortune of those in California. So I thought maybe you'd like to say something about that.
Yeah, our country sometimes I say is screwed up in a lot of ways, and yet it's kind of unbelievable how we rally together when there's problems, And I just said our thoughts and prayers are with all those people that are losing their homes and what they're doing, but. Really what I didn't say, and I have a nephew who's a firefighter, but the firefighters, the police, the first responders, that sometimes get maligned. We should appreciate a lot more than we do. I think there's groups, as I've learned, I've never been in the military, but I did do some military things, and I think our veterans, we don't really probably do what we need to do with them, and I think our first responders and that's police, fire department, everything. I mean, nobody's getting rich in those jobs, and yet they put their lives on the line. And when you look at what I seen every morning, I try to watch the news, which I normally didn't do, but I do now. And I see what I see out there. It's amazing. What we've lost is a lot, and people's home and even some lives, but when you hear about those guys and women and men out there for days and days and hours, God, and then you think about basketball player, football player being a hero. The real heroes are out there working. So I hope each and every one of us takes our hats off to them and realize that no matter what people want to do, again, I don't get into political things on defunding this and doing that, but those people are special people, and sooner or later we should all appreciate the people that do so much for us and ask for so little in return. So that would be my way to say God bless you all and thank you and appreciate you.
I think the number one question Tom's been getting hit with is what makes this team so good? 9-game winning streak. Again, raises in the polls this week. And today you touched on something pretty simple, and you talked about we got where we are because of the culture.
Well, it was interesting as we got to Northwestern and we played, and different people talk about different things. I know when Jason Richardson came back last week to see a game, he kept reminding me that we have to get it back the way it was, and I said, that's not as easy as you think, meaning the new breed of human beings we have now. But I think that's the decision I made early, and I think so far, we've just been a group that gets along. I think we appreciate the past. I got an incredible picture right before I was leaving. In fact, I was leaving the hotel to go to the game. It was early in the morning because that game was early, and we got in late because of some plane problems. And I was leaving, and David Thomas, my former player, but also a former employee, sent me a picture of him and Mateen and Torbert and who else was in it? There were 4 or 5 of them. Oh, Andre Hudson. And they were all kind of with their kids and who are all really good players now. And they were talking about the bond they have, and when you win championships or you play together or you do things together, there is a certain bond. And if you can get that bond to happen while you're playing instead of after you're playing, that's how you win championships and big games. That group had that bond when they played. It's now been 25 years later, and not only did they have the bond and they're still all together, but the picture was like priceless. And I said, the only problem you guys are going to have is I got a feeling all your sons could end up better than you were. And I really mean that. They're all really good players. And then I thought about what I said, and is that insulting or complimentary? And DT sent me something back saying, we agree. And I was thinking, well, of course they could be better because they're mentored well, they're coached well, they're brought up well, they're in a good culture well. And so maybe it's not as difficult. My big fear still is now school starts, and everybody acts like, I'm being a negative person saying it, but school starts. And, when school starts, everybody's fired up about the team. Now you gotta, keep the guys together and without the distractions. And I mean, we got a good team. I told you our schedule's a little backloaded, meaning that, our tougher games are down the stretch yet, but we're also getting better as a team. And I don't think we've reached our potential. So a lot of good things can happen. Whether they will or not is whether we keep doing what we do to get us this far and not let that change. And I know some people would say, well, that should be easy. Just do it. It's more difficult than you think.
I would agree. Not that you care.
You're right. No, I do care. And but I will say this, because when the question was asked, I got guys that pull for one another, and that's top to bottom. That's all 15 of them, and they get along. They cheer for each other. Frankie Fiddler hit a shot. I mean, not insulting. He hasn't hit a shot for a while, a 3. And I just looked down my bench, and it reminded me when Steven made that shot. I mean, everybody was excited for him. And ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't always happen. And that's one of the reasons I think we are where we are now. Now, this week, we got Penn State coming in, who is really good. Their best player has been out for a couple games. He's supposed to be back. He was player of the year as far as defensive player of the year. He's the straw that stirs the drink. They had Oregon, who some people think is the best team in the league. They had them down 7 with a couple minutes left and couldn't hang on. So we got them Tuesday, and then, of course, our Wednesday, and we got Illinois on Sunday. So big week, a lot of things going on, but it's been a really good week, the one we've had. So I'm going to enjoy that for a little bit of time when you got games. Like now, we came back last night, 11 o'clock game. We thought we'd get back at 3:30 or so in the afternoon. We got back. I got to my house at 9. What did you get?
9 or 10. Yeah.
Yeah. And we had some airplane problems, and we sat on the runway for a long time.
We clocked it about 3:45.
Yeah. And so, it's a busy time now to get prepared, because tomorrow is one day before the game, and we go again.
Well, we're live at One North Kitchen and Bar in East Lansing. If you want to join our audience for any of the MSU coaches shows, make your reservation by emailing coachesshows@onenorthdining.com. And we will be back with more of the Auto Owners Insurance Coach Tom Izzo Show after this on the Spartan Media Network.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Dad. A few days in the shop, little, but thanks to Mom and our agent, we've already submitted a claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto Owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask.
Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
When you're a foster parent, you play a lot of roles.
Provider, giving a foster child a safe home, healthy meals, and hope.
You're always there.
You're a cheerleader.
Your family. You would do anything for a child in your care.
Every day is different. Every need is different. But one of the most impactful roles you can play in life is being a foster parent. See why at michigan.gov/hope for a home. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Skill is a game changer. And when the doctors you know and trust team up with one of the nation's top health systems, the possibilities are endless. Sparrow is now University of Michigan Health Sparrow. So together, we can bring more specialized expertise, more of the latest treatments, and more of the best possible care closer to you. Discover what's possible at uofmhealthsparrow.org.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill, because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
And welcome back. We're live in Lansing for the Tom Izzo Show, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Well, a couple of notes here. If you're listening and like to ask Coach a question, the number is 877-535-1678. That's 877-535-1678. And also, as always, we have our microphone here for anybody that wants to come up and ask a question. We don't have to wait for segment 4 or 5. Just mosey on up. By the way, raise hope and foster dreams by starting your journey to becoming a foster parent today. Visit michigan.gov/hope for a home to learn more on how you can support children of all ages in your community. Well, Tom touched on our fun with the airplanes. It started off, there's an airplane sitting there, except it doesn't work. And so they're going to bring us a new airplane. And this new airplane happened to be the one that flew Ohio State football team and band back from the Cotton Bowl.
So can you imagine a basketball team on a 300-some seat plane? I didn't have my own seat. I had my own aisle. In fact, I had my own section.
Yeah. 360-some seats, 43 people in our traveling party. And it was really interesting to watch everybody trying to figure out, where should I sit? There's so many choices. But then, okay, we get there and that's fine. So now we beat Northwestern. Everybody's feeling good. Time to go home. So we get to O'Hare and something's wrong with the airplane again. It doesn't de-ice right. And we literally sat there for over 3.5 hours trying to get home. And it was amazing. Everybody was thinking, wow, we'd be home for dinner or something. No. But the good news is it won the game, so everybody's in a pretty good mood. But have you ever been, okay, most people in a pretty good mood. And so did you ever, I can't remember a deal where we going and coming had problems. Do you?
No, I don't remember that. I remember once when we won the championship, in 99 or 2000, we went to Penn State. We had a Thursday and then a Saturday game. And if we won on Saturday, we'd win, I think we close everybody out. And we beat Penn State, and plane wasn't there. And they said, well, we can get one in the morning, and the weather was bad. And I said, that's Division II at Northern Michigan. We went and bought, some burgers and just threw them on the bus and took a bus back. And I never realized, though, at Penn State, you got to go through the mountains and that. And bad storm, that wasn't the greatest idea I've ever had. And but it was about a 7.5-hour trip, took a little longer, and we made it. And we won the next game. So, we almost had to make that decision last night. You go so long, and then when do you bus back? And thank God it all worked out. But Will was right. Not many times, and maybe never, have I had it on both ends, especially with 11 o'clock game. That made it bizarre. But it's all good. You know what? Next week, if we can have plane problems both ways and have an 8 o'clock game and win, I'm all for it.
Did you notice when we touched down, the original plane was still sitting there broken?
No, I don't notice things like that. I was just happy to be home, to be honest with you.
Well, yes. By the way, this week's Alumni Hall Spartan basketball trivia ticket giveaway. In this one, the winner gets tickets to an MSU home basketball game. And you will pick up your tickets at the Alumni Hall retail location at Eastwood Town Center in Lansing. Okay, so our question is a good one. We just got done playing Northwestern. Well, Northwestern has been big in Michigan State athletic history. If you take football, the big comeback we had there to this day is still the greatest comeback in the history of Division I football. I think we were down 35 and came back to win. Well, in the world of Big Ten basketball, that happened at Northwestern. They were playing at the All-State Arena, right, because they're redoing their place. They're coming off their NCAA journey, and they weren't playing real well, and McIntosh was hurt. And so, but they just got, they got this lead. And we kept thinking that surely we're not going to lose to these guys and have it cost us the Big Ten title. So here comes the second half, and I've never seen a team catch up so fast in my life. If Cassius Winston could have written a testimonial about I am on a mission, that was it. We just flew up and down the floor, and I don't know, Tom, 8 minutes ago, whatever it was, we made up that massive deficit and went on to win. And that record still holds. Greatest comeback in history of Big Ten basketball. So here's the question. In that game, who was our leading scorer? That is the question.
It's got to be somebody different than Cassius. I remember Jaron had a big game, but it wouldn't be that. You wouldn't make it that easy that it was Cassius. So it's got to be somebody different.
I can't tip anybody off. But anyway, so there you go. If you think you know the answer, who led us in scoring in that game, just come on up and give us the answer. Hope it's correct, and you get a couple of tickets to a Spartan home basketball game. We'll have more conversation with Coach Izzo and your trivia answer right after this as you're listening to Auto Owners Insurance Tom Izzo Show.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said, if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
What could you make possible as an organ, eye, and tissue donor? Leave behind the gift of life. Go to organdonor.gov. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
Hey Spartans, when it's game time, it's One North time. Just minutes from Michigan State University, One North Kitchen and Bar is your go-to spot for scratch cooking and world-class hospitality. When you're celebrating a win or catching up with friends, we've got the perfect dish to make every moment special. Join us for the MSU Coaches Shows and get closer to the action with the voices that bring Spartan spirit to life. Visit One North, where Spartan pride meets memorable meals.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
you go. Go.
Run, James.
No. First base.
Go, go, go.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street, you're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
At first, credit card debt can seem harmless, like a cute little baby goat. But let it get out of control, and your debt goes wild, and that is anything but cute. Tame your debt with Rocket Mortgage. Tap into your home's equity and get funds in a matter of days. Just visit tameyourdebt.com. Call 1-800-407-3944 for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
And we're back on the Tom Izzo Show, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. By the way, here's a reminder that the first MSU Rebounders Luncheon for 2025 will be this Friday, January 17th, at the MSU FCU headquarters 2 building. And you can still join the club if you want by visiting MSURebounders.com for more information. And Tom, you won't believe how many times they've given me this piece of paper and I've lost it. So this time I didn't do it. You've inspired me not to lose that paper.
Wow. I'm a real inspirational guy, I guess.
Okay, so the question is, on February 17th, 2018, Michigan State beat Northwestern 65-60, at one point trailing 27 points and came back to win it by 5. The question is, in that game, who was our leading scorer? And I think we have somebody that thinks they know.
I'm Stephanie from DeWitt, and I think it is Cassius Winston.
I think she's right. Cash had 17 points in that game, and it was something, man.
You know, I seriously, I thought it might have been Jaron. I don't know how many he had, but he made a couple big plays in that game. And ironically, Jaron just sent us. We did a little thing the other day. He just sent each player one of his jerseys, and he signed them to their players. And so we got together after practice and thanked him. And I realized that it's, I talked to his mom, I talked to him, and it's coming up on all-star voting. So I told him, man, I'm gonna start. He is right on the cusp of being an all-star again, and it's unbelievable. He had 33 last night. So whatever way you can vote, it's all online. I'd say that all the Spartans should get together, get Jaron Jackson back in that all-star thing, because he's an unbelievable kid. He's going to end up graduating from here because his mother's going to force him, and he's been taking classes. And so it's been fun to watch Jaron grow, but he was big in that game too. Yeah. And so I thought, you're asking easier questions. I mean, I could have guessed Cash.
Well, that's why you pick it, because you won't guess Cash. It's too easy. But
I wouldn't. They would.
Yes.
As evident.
But Tom has said many times he's not necessarily a superstitious guy. And the worst thing that can happen to an announcer in a noisy place at a ball game is have his headsets go out. A lot of things happen that aren't good. And so in the middle of that run, my headsets blew up, kind of like getting a flat tire if you're racing in NASCAR. And so in those days, Dalton Shetler was still with us. He's now the voice of women's basketball. I said, Dalton, I need another pair of headsets. I felt like I was going into the pits. And so he gives me the headsets, and I put them on, and they're good. Then I go, what the? Give me those other ones back. We're doing good with those. I don't care how bad this is.
You're superstitious?
I was that day. And
wow.
I know. We won, though.
That's all that matters.
There you go. By the way, a presenting sponsor of Michigan State basketball is Rocket Mortgage, official mortgage provider of Michigan State athletics. Well, now we're going to do a little bit of math here. The Boot Law Firm and it's been several years now, sponsoring the Beyond the Arc campaign that benefits the Greater Lansing Food Bank. Every time we make a 3, or the women's teams make a 3, $25 is donated for each one of those baskets. And last year we topped over 10 grand, and we're basically down halfway through right now. And,
yeah, our 4 for 8, I mean, was a great percentage, but we're not helping the cause here. If we don't start shooting better, I'm going to have to donate to the food bank.
Well, volume is good sometimes, but we have made 90 of them, and they've made 113 of them, and they all count. So it's $25 times 203. We're at $5,075. So we're halfway through the season basically, and we look like we're going to hit 10 grand again. That's pretty good. So thank you, Boot Law Firm.
Yeah, thank you, Boot.
You know, it's interesting. People have talked about the 3-point shooting, but when you look at the Big Ten stats, I mean, we're okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we just sleptwalked through December. You know, we were awful. And yet, I think there was something to that. I said it at, I don't know if it was a press conference or here, but I mentioned that the guy at UCLA made a comment. I called him because they were shooting like 24%. And I said, I'm going to make you feel better. We're at 19% from the 3. And so I said, but we're 2 of the worst in the world. And misery loves company, you know. And he says, coach, don't worry about it. He said, Bobby Huggins always told me that he hated when he started out shooting well at the beginning of the year. I said, why would Huggs say that? He says, because then you had to learn how to win a different way. And then when your shooting came, maybe, you know, so our free throw shooting's been great. Our rebounding's been great. Our defense has been very good. So we're learning how to win a different way. We're shooting it a lot better than we were, but we're still not shooting it, which most of the teams I've had have shot it. And if that comes, I think this team goes up another step.
Like Tom said, we're down in the teens right now in Big Ten play, and these are against really good teams. This isn't any sisters of the poor in this lineup. 37% from 3 in terms of free throw percentage. How about almost 85%? That's pretty good. And scoring defense is fabulous. We're giving up basically 61, 62 points a game, and that's not very many points. And your rebounding is great. Number 1, the Big Ten there in the Big Ten, and your margin of victory is about 12 points or more. And I might have that wrong. How about 21.2 points margin of victory?
That's a big difference.
A little bit. Hey, presenting sponsor of Michigan State basketball is Rocket Mortgage, official mortgage provider of Michigan State athletics. We'll be back to talk more Spartan basketball on the Auto Owners Insurance Tom Izzo Show after this break on the Spartan Media Network.
So, got one for you, boss.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go. Go!
Run, James!
No, first base!
Go, go, go!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
From our farm fields to the football field, Michigan soybeans touch every life, every day. From the food we eat to the products we use and the cars we drive, soybeans are making an impact. The Michigan Soybean Committee is dedicated to helping our farmers grow the soybeans needed for a more sustainable future while working at the forefront of innovation to develop new uses. To learn more about the Michigan Soybean Committee's initiatives, please visit us at michigansoybean.org.
Our lives are a collection of experiences, from fender benders and soggy basements to great joy and growing families. Sometimes life is unplanned. Knowing that your insurance provider is always close by offers comfort. At Farm Bureau Insurance, the experience you get with our local trusted advisors is different. From financial security to a helping hand, Farm Bureau understands the experience matters. Find an agent who can protect what matters to you.
And welcome back to the Auto Owners Insurance Coach Tom Izzo Show. Don't forget this week, upcoming game day sponsor will be the Michigan Soybean Committee. Up in the UP, do they do soybeans up there?
Pasties. We just stick with pasties. It was just brought to my attention, though, and I do got to say this because a unique thing's going to happen this weekend. I think Robin and I are both starting out having very good years, and yet we're way behind in the rankings. I mean, our hockey team's ranked 1, and our gymnastics team is ranked 6 in the country. Just came off. I talked to Mike today. They just came off a big meet where they did very well down in Florida. But the uniqueness is Friday night. They're having a meet in Breslin. It's going to be in there, and so I would encourage all of you. I mean, they've been good for a couple of years now. I mean, no, they've been great for a couple of years now. And it was something Ellen wanted to do. And the women on that team really were excited about it. So on Friday night, I'm not sure the time, but Friday night, 6:00. If you're not busy, it would be a heck of a thing to come to. So all of you get out and support that team. They've been, as I said, very good. And this will be another Michigan State. It'll be a unique thing for us that they're going to have their meet in Breslin Arena.
And, well, the job Mike Rowe has done, you kids, it's like we talk about hockey, the job that Adam has done there, but what Mike Rowe has done is amazing.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of pressure on Robin and I. And but I kind of like that. That's good pressure. I mean, when you think of right now, we do have 4 of our winter sports team all ranked in the top 20. That's great for Michigan State. Great for all of you. Yeah, it is.
Oh, by the way, the new AP polls came out, and we're 12th in the nation, and they were also 12th in the coaches poll, which makes us the number 1 ranked Big Ten basketball team in the country. So we're not doing too bad.
What do you mean the number 1 ranked Big Ten?
Well, you see,
the number 1 ranked Big Ten team?
We're the highest ranked Big Ten team.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like the guy last week, but shouldn't we at least get to a Final Four? I got to figure that out.
That's okay. By the way, you want to talk a little volleyball? We had a big event there too.
We did?
We did. Got a new coach.
Oh, yeah, we did. We did. I thought you meant volleyball's in the fall, but yeah, I was at the I went over to watch Kristen get her introduction, and it was great. We had that in Breslin also. We had it in the Hall of History, which was kind of neat. We can turn that thing into anything you want. We turn it into football. When it was football, we turn it into volleyball or women's basketball, men's basketball. It's really been a neat deal. And we had a heck of a crowd there. I told Alan, it was hard for me to get there because I had a game in a day or so, and Jonathan was going to be on the road, and it was like everybody kind of gathered together to be there, and it was an unbelievable group. And I told Alan he should feel good about his coaches, that everybody that could be there was there to hopefully, welcome her. She's, of course, played here, so it's she knows her way around.
It was interesting for whatever reason. I did ask her if she got a call from Tom Izzo, and she said, I did, and I froze.
That's not true. She was very talkative, and but nice of her to say that. But no, it's it's always hard when you lose coaches and you gain coaches. I mean, it's the nature of the beast. I always said, including myself, you're hired to be fired. It's just the way the profession is right now. But so sad that things didn't work out for one, but an opportunity. And I think they did a good job. I think I've always said this, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong. It's George Perlis once said to me, if you can hire somebody that has walked the hallways and walked to the classes and walked the campus before, it's always going to mean more. Like I used to bring recruits over, and I worked for Judd then, and Judd never walked, so he didn't even know. He just kind of drove in, walked up the steps, drove out. He didn't go walk the campus. But George would walk the campus, and when I bring a recruit over to him, I mean, there's something. And I know when she was introduced, she was all excited about, being here before and what she's going to do now. And so I'm hoping it works out for her. The more teams that win, better for all of us. That's the way I look at it.
Yep, no doubt. Hey, by the way, Big B Coffee is a proud supporter of Michigan State basketball. Visit your Mid-Michigan Big B Coffee location today. And our show this evening comes to you live from One North Kitchen and Bar, located at Abbott and Saginaw in East Lansing. One North Kitchen and Bar, making good times great. We'll return for more of the Tom Izzo presentation of the Auto Owners Insurance Show after this, as you're listening to the Spartan Media Network.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Dad, did you get a new haircut or something? A new shirt? You're looking good.
What happened?
A little fender bender?
How little?
A few days in the shop little, but thanks to Mom and the agent, we've already submitted a claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto Owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense.
I'm fine, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask.
Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners make sense for you.
Hey, got one more, Labatt?
Yeah, here you go.
Yo, got one more?
Sure. Who are you?
Having more?
I'll take one.
Got another Labatt?
Got one more? How did you all get in my house?
Dude, door was open. Heard you had some Labatt.
Yeah, in the fridge.
Crack some Labatt, make some friends, and see where it takes you. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company Limited.
Is joint pain slowing you down? Imagine waking up and moving through your day pain-free. The orthopedic and sports medicine specialists at McLaren are experts in the latest surgical and non-surgical advances to relieve joint pain and restore movement so you can rediscover the activities you love. We'll help you get back to what moves you. McLaren, the official orthopedic and sports medicine partner of Michigan State Athletics.
Hey Spartans, when it's game time, it's One North time. Just minutes from Michigan State University, One North Kitchen and Bar is your go-to spot for scratch cooking and world-class hospitality. When you're celebrating a win or catching up with friends, we've got the perfect dish to make every moment special. Join us for the MSU Coaches Shows and get closer to the action with the voices that bring Spartan spirit to life. Visit One North, where Spartan pride meets memorable meals.
And we're back live for the Tom Izzo Show, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Auto Owners Insurance, simple human sense. Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners make sense for you. Well, there's a lot of changes, and we have 4 new members, as we all know. And now all of a sudden we're starting to incorporate West Coast teams into our Big Ten schedule. And I know we're just getting into this thing a little bit, but have you noticed any trends when people are going from one coast to the other?
Well, my buddy Mick Cronin, had those struggles out there when they played Michigan. It was a little bit of a struggle, and then he flew 6 hours, as he said, to Maryland, and got thrown right out of the arena there. So I called him a coward just because they were down. He left, but tonight they play Rutgers. And in fairness, think how tough that's got to be on their guys. Not just the 6-hour trip, and then they'll go 6 hours tonight home, but what's happening back home, I don't know. They say it actually is getting closer to where UCLA is, and those wins everywhere. So some teams, have lost coming this way, but Illinois won going out there, and Michigan won going out there. So I don't know. I think still, it's the same for everybody, sort of. Those teams got it a little worse than we do because they got to come here more often. But, it's one thing I've done myself a favor. I've quit worrying about my committees and boards, and I'm going to quit worrying about things I can't control. And I've spent more time on the things I can control, and I think it's helped me, helped us. So whenever we played at 11 o'clock. We didn't have a plane. I mean, I'd have walked there if it would have meant we could win a game. So that's the way it is.
Well, we have 18 teams, but only 15 are going to make the Big Ten tournament. And this is the first time since we've had the Big Ten tournament, not every team made it. So 3 guys aren't going to go. And right now, those 3 could have been Northwestern, Rutgers. They're tied for a spot. And Washington and Minnesota, if we stop today, would not make it for sure. What do you think about that?
I don't like it. I don't like it. I think it's really telling everybody they're going to get fired. I mean, that's kind of the way it's going to go. I'm afraid. It's never good. It's going to be hard on some of those kids. If somebody has a real bad year and has nothing to play for at the end, you always had something. I remember, it was 25 years ago. I went to, it was 30 years ago. I went to my first Big Ten meeting, and they were voting on the Big Ten tournament. And Bob Knight, Gene Cady, and Clem Haskins, I was sitting in the back of the room with my hood on, because those meetings, when those 3 guys were there, they were wars. I mean, it was unbelievable how it was then. It's so different now. And then halfway through, they came back because they were not in favor of the tournament. And they asked me, do you know that we're voting on the tournament today? I didn't even know where I was. Judd sent me there on a whim. And I just said, hey, I'm just, they said, well, Judd's a good friend of ours. And I said, yeah, I know that. And they said, well, how are you voting, boy? And I said, well, well, we don't want the tournament. I said, yes, sir. And I voted no. And there was 11-0 vote no. And the commissioner had it anyway. And maybe the commissioner was smarter than the rest of us, because it's been a big deal. It's been great for fans. Basketball's different. This is something you can plan all year. And when we play in Chicago or Indy, it's amazing the number of fraternity, sorority, brothers and sisters that meet there, and everybody meets there. And because you can plan ahead, when you get the NCAA tournament in basketball, you find out on Sunday night, you're sometimes playing on Wednesday. It's hard for people to get tickets, and it's hard for people to get arrangements. This is something they can come to, and it's really been good. Now, the bad news is, I mean, they could always come to it because their team was going to play a game. Now they got to determine whether their team's even going to be there. So I don't like it. I understand it. I understand the problems, but I don't like it. I'm supporting whatever they do because I'm a team guy, but I feel bad because somebody could have some injuries and miss that, and then it just looks bad. So what do you guys think? Why is anybody asking any questions anyway? What are we doing?
I mean, somebody come up and weigh in on this. It's kind of a hot topic. Nobody's moving, Tom.
Just like my team, they don't listen.
By the way, Spartans dream big, and MSU Federal Credit Union is here to support you every step of the way. Whether your goal is to pay off your student loan, build your dream home, or save for retirement, MSU FCU has you covered. MSU Federal Credit Union, the official credit union of Spartan Athletics. Well, let's take a break right now as you're listening to the Auto Owners Insurance Coach Tom Izzo Show.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Libman makes a difference. The Libman Mop Crew is part of our winning team. The Libman Mop Crew makes sure the hardwood is clean and safe for the players every game at the Breslin Center. No matter what kind of flooring you have at your home court, Libman has the tools to keep it clean. Our mops, brooms, and brushes are proudly family made in the USA. Visit Libman.com to see our whole lineup and store locator. That's Libman.com. Libman, official hardwood floor care provider of the Michigan State Spartans.
When you're a foster parent, you play a lot of roles.
Provider,
giving a foster child a safe home, healthy meals, and hope.
You're always there.
You're a cheerleader.
Your family. You would do anything for a child in your care.
Every day is different. Every need is different. But one of the most impactful roles you can play in life is being a foster parent. See why at michigan.gov/hope for a home. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Sometimes we're asked if you need to be a Spartan to be a member of Michigan State University Federal Credit Union. The answer is no. To be an MSU FCU member, you just need 3 things. 1, you love saving money and earning cash back. 2, you have a passion for supporting your community, just like we do. 3, when it comes to your future, you prefer to dream big. If this sounds like you, visit msufcu.org to get started. Of course, if you want to cheer on MSU, we're totally on board with that too. Go green.
Live from Lansing for the Tom Izzo Show, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. And frankly, you want to join us for the Michigan Sports Brief program every weekday on Spartan Media Network stations across the state of Michigan, presented by Frank and Muth Insurance. Start a frank conversation about your insurance with one of our local independent agents by visiting fmins.com. Well,
John's got a question.
John, fire away.
John from Bath. I have a question for Tom, a personal question. How is your granddaughter?
How's my granddaughter? She's great. You know, I told my daughter, you know, she sleeps a little too much. She hasn't quite started talking enough yet. And my daughter threw a book at me, so I just shut my mouth now and don't say nothing. But she's doing great. Yeah, it's been great. Fun to have her. Get to wake up some mornings. That's one of the few things that social media, you know, FaceTiming has done. I get to wake up to her. So that's been good. Yes, sir.
You know, the old commercial, give it to Mikey, he'll eat it.
Yeah.
Kevin Pauga, give the Big Ten tournament to Kevin Pauga. He will figure it out. All 18 teams.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. Kevin Pauga is a unbelievable, you know, every place in the country is trying to hire Kevin Pauga to do their scheduling. And, you know, when he worked for me many years ago, his goal in life was to be a baseball scheduler. You know, think about that for your goal in life. I mean, what the hell's wrong with him? I mean, a baseball scheduler is 162 games and 30 or 32 teams. I mean, but that's KP, and he does a great job of it. He helps, of course, a lot of conferences, and he probably could figure it out. I just don't know if they want to figure it out. I don't know if they want it that way, but I don't know the reason behind it. I think a lot of coaches complained. I don't think it was – I'm not sure the commissioner is even for it. It was just one of those things we had to do because everything came on us so quick, and maybe by next year we'll figure it out. I don't know what other conferences are doing. Do you?
Smaller ones are limiting getting in, like the Mid-American Conference.
Well, they always have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they always have, but I
don't think the SEC is doing it.
They don't. You know, that's sad because that's one of the experiences kids would get going to a tournament like that. And like I said, it's great for I think for our alums that get to plan a trip and come and see us. I know it's a big deal to me when they come. So that's too bad.
Yeah. And it's the other interesting thing that faces Kevin a little bit in scheduling, with all the TV partners we have, not that I'm here to promote television, there's a whole set of rules and regulations, who gets what, when, and where. In navigating, that's amazing, I think, Tom.
Well, I think that's even why we played at 11 o'clock. You know, you got to get it in before. The advantage of that is you're right in before a pro football game and the playoffs. And so that means you're going to get more viewers. And, man, I didn't mind playing at 11. If I would have got home at like 4 when I was supposed to, that would have been great. I did mind playing at 11 and not getting home till 9 or 10. Do you have a question? No? You're just waiting to pass by?
No.
Oh.
If you give me a minute, I'll let you know. I just got back from Virginia for a month,
And I always wear my Michigan State clothes when I go back and forth. And everybody that had a comment to make talked about you. And I thought that was just so honorable. I just thought it was really cool. Everybody's talking about what a man you are and how great you are and how personable. Said,
they didn't call my wife.
Tom. She would have said the same thing. Anyway, it was just really neat. Everybody had something to say about you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Here's one thing I have learned. If we're on a plane coming home and we've had a bad day, the smart move is to sit next to Tom's granddaughter, because when he gets to that part of the plane, he's in a great mood. So I learned that.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often, maybe in a playoff game. And unfortunately, you lose some of those. But no, it's been great. It's been everything everybody told me. A lot of you told me it was going to be great. It's better than that. So that's been a good thing.
Well, whenever you shop Meijer, you shop for the entire community. You help support food rescue programs and Simply Give programs. Learn more at Meijer.com. We'll be back with more of the Auto Owners Insurance Tom Izzo Show after this on the Spartan Media Network.
So, got one for you, boss.
Oh, yeah?
What's black, white, and dented all over?
I give up.
The company truck. I know, but thanks to our agent, we've already submitted an insurance claim and can track the status right from the app. Auto Owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Lucky for you, that's simple human sense.
Ask your independent agent if Auto Owners makes sense for you.
Skill is a game changer. And when the doctors you know and trust team up with one of the nation's top health systems, the possibilities are endless. Sparrow is now University of Michigan Health Sparrow. So together, we can bring more specialized expertise, more of the latest treatments, and more of the best possible care closer to you. Discover what's possible at uofmhealthsparrow.org.
Hey Spartan fans, the 2024 basketball season is tipping off, and SeatGeek is here to help you experience all the action. SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets so you can be a part of all the courtside celebrations this season. Whether you're buying or selling tickets to MSU basketball games or to any other live event in the state, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of the Spartans. The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek.
From the biggest of big games to the littlest of the little.
There you go. Go! Run, James! No. First base! Go!
Whenever you shop Meijer, you help support hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. From some of the biggest stadiums in the state to the familiar fields down the street. You're helping make a difference to the people and places you call home. Learn more at Meijer.com/community.
Welcome back to the Tom Izzo Show, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. By the way, our on-site producer is Chris Ordway sitting here, and our studio producer is Noah Kelly. Also, thanks go out to Gabe Dansby for running our live stream. They're all sitting here doing good things. A reminder, we'll be on the air Wednesday across our great state when the Spartans take on Penn State. You can join us when our live coverage begins at 6:30 on Wednesday evening. And also a reminder that our next Tom Izzo Show will be Monday, January the 20th. So Penn State coming in, you had some interesting things, Tom, to say about them. And one was they tend to play a little different style of basketball.
Yeah, they're going to press us from one end to the other, and they get after it. They're very good defensively. As I said, their star player has been out, a kid named Baldwin. He was the defensive player of the year last year as a junior. He's supposed to play. And they've got a unique thing there. He's done a great job. He's got some guys that have been with him. He's got a transfer too, but he's got guys that have been with him for a while. Johnson, Hicks. So they got size. They're 7 foot. They're 6'8" on the wings. And they're athletic. And he's a really good coach. So we'll have our work cut out. And I don't know how many got to the last game, but, you know, I said the alumni zone was unbelievable. You know, it's always fun to have them back. And we're challenging our own zone, because they've been, I think, really good this year too. But it is important, you're going to have, I told my team, can you be different enough to maintain a high level game after game after game? And once in a while that doesn't happen, as it didn't happen in our championship years, and it didn't happen in other championship years. And that's when the fans really make a difference. And I always say, you can win us a couple of home games. Don't know when it's going to be, but I always appreciate what you do for us too. So hopefully we're going to play good. We had a great practice today, considering what we went through yesterday. And, hopefully we'll have a good one tomorrow. This team has sustained some things, I think, because we can play more people. Nobody's bogged down, and it's been good so far. Unfortunately, we're only a quarter of the way through the Big Ten. We got 15 more games to go, and that's a lot of games.
Well, the one thing, though, if you're trying to defend you or get a win against Michigan State, there's so many different ways you can go with these guys, Tom.
Yeah, there is. But, to win consistently big, your defense still got to be very good, which it has been. Now, that on a negative side, being the pessimist that I can be, the last two games, we've given up 40 and 41 points in the second half, and that's illegal. So we got to get that straightened out. And then, still shooting the ball. Now, we only took 8 threes because they did a good job in coming out on us, which left the inside more open. But, hopefully we got to keep shooting better from the 3-point line, keep getting to the foul line. We got there 27 times. We're averaging over 22 free throws and shooting 85%, which that is incredible. I've never had a team that shot that way. So there's pluses, but don't listen to the water cooler people. There's a lot of work left to be done, and that's what we're going to try to do, and see if we can just take it one game at a time. But this is a big week with 2 home games. Got to get the first one, and then we'll move forward.
A new phrase, the water cooler people. What do you think? I like it. So as we said, be sure to join us when we take to the air Wednesday at 6:30 as we begin our presentation of our broadcast against Penn State. And Tom's next show will be here Monday, January 20th.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all coming out in this weather.
You've been listening to the Auto Owners Insurance presentation of the Tom Izzo Show, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense. The Tom Izzo Show is also brought to you by McLaren, official orthopedics and sports medicine partner of Michigan State Athletics. One North Kitchen and Bar, making good times great. SeatGeek, the official ticket marketplace of MSU Athletics. Labatt, crack some Labatt and see where it takes you. Meyer, the official grocer of Michigan State Athletics. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment. Choose chill. And by Dean Trailways, the official ground transportation provider of Spartan Athletics. Make Dean Trailways your favorite ride. The Tom Izzo Show is a presentation of Playfly Sports in partnership with Michigan State Athletics. All rights reserved, and is produced by the Spartan Media Network.